Hello everybody and welcome to session 5 of the 7-day Property Success Summit. Are you enjoying it? Have you had fun? Have you learnt a lot? Have you got loads and loads of freebies? That's all the kind of stuff that I want you to be getting out of it. I want you to feel like we really care about you, because I do. I want you to be a property success. So I want you to have everything that I know broken down into little pieces, easy, actionable tasks, so that you've got that to take with you on your property journey. And that keeps coming. It really does. This seminar, we're going to be speaking about funding your next property. This really does follow on with analysing the deals, because the deal analysis that you pick and the property you pick to go with, you're going to need when you're financing that property. So it's very related. And as you can see, over the time, we're building up the steps. So eventually you have a full portfolio strategy. So let's jump straight in. The aim of this seminar is to plan how you are going to fund your next property, give you ideas about alternative finance, and make sure that you always have a finance option. So no matter what property you want to buy, you've got ideas and options about what you can do. So it doesn't matter where you are, what you're thinking about, or what you've got available, you can always keep buying. And I think that's key to anybody's property portfolio strategy. Can I tell you a little something before we go right in with the rest of the seminar? A lot of what is in this seminar you have probably heard diced up and sliced up and given to you in other formats from elsewhere. This seminar is purely an overview. I don't want you to think, oh, NC thinks that she's being all original, and actually it's not original. I'm just giving you an overview. The workbook is where it's at for this seminar. It really is. That's all of my information put over there so that you know that you can go and find finance really easily, and you've got the steps to do so. So make sure you're also looking at that. It's really important that you do. This is, again, it's just a very much overflow of exactly what you can do. If it's new to you, fantastic. If it's repetition of what you've heard elsewhere and you're thinking, oh, this isn't new stuff, well, you know what? It's not a secret that you can do this stuff. It's just how you do it and how you operate it. You need to be making sure that you are doing it in the right way, because if you're not, you can lose a serious ton of money, and you do not want to be doing that. So I want to make sure that you're aware of this, and that's what the whole purpose of this seminar is all about. It's about making sure that you can fund a deal no matter what, and making sure that you can do it right, which is exactly why I make sure that you do your deal analysis first, because if your analysis comes up that you're going to be making cash, well then fabulous, then you can go and get funding. If you're not certain, or you have the gut instinct that actually, oh my gosh, this doesn't feel right to me, well, actually you need to be reassessing the whole thing and maybe even going out and finding another property. I'm passionate about this. You can probably hear that. So do make sure that before you jump into anything, buying another property, it really stacks up for you. You might even need to go as far back as having a look at your goals again, because it's that important that you get this right. It's pointless buying a property that might, just break even, or you may even lose money. What's the point? You're not doing anything. It's a whole lot of work for not a lot of return. You need to be making sure that you're earning a bit of money off of this, and not just a bit, a lot of money off of this. Your property deals have to be really lucrative. So if they're not, if you found a property that you think, I'm not really that sure about it, please go back to the drawing board. I'm saying this for your own good. Don't just be buying something because it's been forced upon you. Don't just buy something because it looks like the easiest thing to do. Don't just buy something because someone's told you that they can buy properties every 3 months and you think you need to be doing the same. Buy something because it's right for you. And that is where my stance is. That's a different stance. Everybody else is going to say, oh, keep adding to your property portfolio, then you can become a millionaire. Oh, keep adding to your property portfolio because you can be financially free. Hold on a second. There is no point in adding to your property portfolio if actually it's going to mean that you end up broke. What is the point? You need to be strategic with these things. Let me tell you this. The big landlords and investors that I've worked with, and I'm talking the NHS, I am talking huge land and estates, will not buy anything for years. They will keep sitting on their property portfolios until actually the time is just about right. You may think property deals happen all the time. Yeah, they do. But a lot of the big players will sit on stuff and they will wait until exactly the right moment. And I stress the fact that you should do the same. Don't feel pressured by what anybody else is doing. Don't enter into finance. Don't enter into purchasing a property until you know for sure. I mean, the figures have got to stack up. You've got to double, triple check them, and your gut has to be telling you to go forward before you push the trigger. Do you hear me? That is how passionate I am about this. So again, if you're at this point with a property, fabulous, exciting that you're here, start celebrating it. But do not do anything unless you are sure that this is the best decision for you. I cannot stress that enough, because property is expensive and you always need to be acting from the highest place with property. You need to be acting where, even if you're selling a property, you need to be selling a property at its highest value. You don't just need to be trying to get rid of it. So always bear that in mind. Only act from the top. When you know that things are in the best possible place they can be, that's when you sell them, or that's when you buy something new. Don't be acting from a place of fear, or I'm not sure, or I don't know, because it won't get you anywhere. Okay, so now that you've heard all of that from me, you've heard my passion, let's jump in. Obviously, the first way of funding properties is cash. If you have enough cash to buy the property outright, then fabulous. The next deal is going to be quick for you. Simple as. If you don't have to get a mortgage or any finance, then great. You've already got the funds, you can keep going. Or perhaps you just have enough cash for a deposit, and that's okay too. It makes it easier to go out there and get a mortgage. Just remember, in the property game, cash is king and it gives you the most manoeuvrability. And that's always true. If you have money in your pocket and you can go out there and spend it, then actually it makes it far easier, because no one else needs to get involved. Or even if you've got enough money for a deposit, then you can go out there and get a mortgage fairly simply, as long as all the mortgage rates stack up. Let's have a look at equity in your current portfolio. You can use equity if your property has gone up in value, or you simply have more than 25% equity or cash in your current portfolio. And I'm sure you've heard this. It's that age-old thing of buy a property, wait for the property value to come up, remortgage it, take the money back out, use that money, put it into a deposit, buy again. You can do that, but you can also do that if you aren't at the end of your fixed term and the property may not be able to be remortgaged at that time. You can also use your equity elsewhere. So you could use the money as a deposit so that you can buy your next property, or perhaps when you remortgage you have enough to buy a whole property. Use it wisely and you can build a portfolio that works for you without having to own loads of properties. And this is the other thing that I don't believe in. I don't believe in going out there and buying 20, 30, 40, 50 properties if you don't need to, because it's going to take a lot of time in management. It's going to be really stressful. So you need to be making sure that you buy properties at a best place for your portfolio. You remember we went through our goals and we went through that and we were determined to buy properties that only align with our goals. Well, this is where that comes in. You do not want to be buying loads and loads and loads of properties, because number one, you probably don't have the cash flow. Number two, it gets frustrating constantly looking for new properties. Number three, you're probably in property for an easy life. So make your life easy. Buy great properties that give you good returns and you don't need to buy as many. So here's the warning. Don't take too much equity out of your portfolio, especially if it's in your own name, as you are going to need to start paying down your mortgage so as to not get caught out by the new tax rules. Something that's discussed at length in the Members Club. We're always talking about this, so please be wary of that. So if you're using equity in your current portfolio, to summarise, only use the equity in your portfolio if you have more than 20% left in it. Let's talk mortgages for a second. It's a great, easy way of getting lending to purchase 100% of a property, especially if you've already got a deposit. But just remember the new rules. Your rental income needs to be 145% of the monthly mortgage interest payments at an interest rate of 5.5%. Now go back to analysing the deal from last week, and in that spreadsheet it shows exactly how you calculate it. So all you need to do is go back to yesterday's seminar from the 7-day Property Success Summit and go through that and make sure that you understand it, you're analysing the deal so that you can get a mortgage on your property, a buy-to-let mortgage on your property. Just also be mindful that there are also lots of hoops to jump through nowadays to get finance. Even though products are available in abundance, so you can get finance products from everywhere, you've got to understand that there's loads of information that they now need. And I'm going to run through exactly what you need in the workbook. As I said, the workbook for this seminar is key and it's got so much information in it. Let's have a look at bridging loans and second charge loans. Really useful in situations where you need money fast and for a short period of time. Auctions, or where you buy a property quickly. Redevelop and then remortgage to exit and take all of your cash back out. This is what I call the £0 property. This is also really great for if you have equity in your portfolio but aren't at the end of your fixed term. You can then put a second charge over your property and use that as the deposit for your next property. It's a really clever way of financing another property if you want to expand quickly, or you found a property and you're like, yes, I love this. This really aligns with my goals. I'm passionate about buying it. It will do everything I need it to. Well, in this case, this is a really good way of financing that, so bear it in mind. And again, I've got you covered in the workbook, all the steps you need to do to get there, so remember to have a look at it. And also there's a freebie, the £0 property. This is the point, you go back through that and you look at the steps to buy a £0 property. It's all about using bridging loans and second charge loans really cleverly. Just remember that the pitfall is that it is expensive and the penalties are huge if you run over your agreed borrowing time. Be mindful of this. You don't want to add any extra costs to your project, so make sure that you know this. You've also got the option of using investors and joint venture partners. If you don't want to go through the traditional lending route, then this is the one for you. And actually it's quite exciting because you make new connections. So basically you work with people who have funds which you either borrow from them and repay at a fixed time, or you split the deal with and hold the property together. So an investor you borrow the money from and you repay it to them, or a joint venture partner, you split the deal. They put in the money, you put in the expertise, and you join forces and you buy the property together. Again, both really good ways of, number one, getting to know someone really, really well, and number two, buying a property portfolio using someone else's money. It's great, and really, it's simple. If you're constantly networking in the industry and places such as the Members Club, which is awesome for this kind of thing, you find people who want to do this. And sometimes people have money but no time, and other time they have expertise but no money, and you just match that together. It's beautiful. I've done that with my business partner. He's got funds, but he doesn't have the strategy. And so I'm very strategy minded, and I go ahead and I find the deals, put them together, and actually he loves building them. So it works like a dream. So you've got to find someone that complements your skills, and you've got to find someone that also has your values so that you can work together really well. The biggest hurdle here is finding trustworthy, like-minded person to work with. But again, I keep saying this, I've got you covered. So to help you make the decision about the best investor or joint venture partner for you, I've put together some helpful questions in the workbook so you can start thinking about it and start going out there and finding the best person for you. So that has been the quick rundown of the ways that you can find your next deal. So you've got cash, you've got mortgages, you've got bridging loans and second charge loans. You've got investors and joint venture partners. You've got the equity from your current portfolio. All of this is awesome ways of you doing it, and you need to think really carefully about what works best for you. You've heard my passion in this seminar. I'm very passionate about what you should be buying, what you shouldn't be buying. Don't waste your time, guys. Don't be entering into a deal and think, oh, it's stressing me out. You don't want that. You're in property because it's fun, it's a passion for you, it's something you enjoy doing and you want to get excited about it. If you're trying to buy something that just deflates the bubble, stop, reanalyze. You only go for funding once you found the perfect property. But once you get here, there are so many options open to you. Just make sure you've got all the details to hand that I've put in the workbook, because then it's really simple. Every time you go for funding, you just fire off those details, and then your lender will come back to you and say yes or no. Simple. And it's the sort of thing you'd even do with investors and joint venture partners. As long as you've got this information, you are golden. You can go out to people and say, hey, do you want to lend in me? Yes or no. And look, don't take no as, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. Please don't. So many people will say no, and so many lenders will say no just for reasons of their own. They'll be looking at something specific, the way that you're looking for a specific property to buy. Just keep asking. As I said, there's an abundance of products out there. You just need to jump through the hoops. So go out there and find the perfect finance product for your property. Right. I hope you've enjoyed today's seminar. Go and do the workbook. I can't stress that enough. And I will see you tomorrow for increasing your profits. Have a good one and enjoy this.